someday I'll be done making pom-poms.
Someday.
That day is not today.
No?
No.
How much further do you have to go?
I think I only got 2 rows. Like, I have...
Out of like 20? How
30,
big you want to
40.
go?
Yeah. I will probably end up having to buy some more yarn. I did this project to use up my yarn.
Yeah, I was going to say the yarn's been sitting around forever. So.
Yeah. Which is fine. I'm fine with that.
One thing I need to do, and I need to do for like all of these, is go through and just tape the backs of these. That's one thing I am so horrible at, is just taping the back of my comics. They make the ones that automatically like seal, and I like those a lot, but they're obviously more expensive.
Yeah. You'll eventually like.
But this is just, just a pain. That's just me being
So it's
lazy.
basically either you take the time to put it away right, or deal with the consequences of not. It's like packing away like Christmas decorations.
Yeah.
If you don't take the time to pack it away properly,
you're never going to.
You're going to be pissed at yourself next year.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be like, didn't pack it away properly. And then you're lazy and then you do it again.
Pretty much.
Yep.
Pretty much.
I feel like that's everybody.
Okay, well, anybody who might be watching the replay later, I've got a bunch of Star Wars comics that I haven't put away yet, and I was going to go through and put them away, and being that Monday was May the 4th.
May the 4th be with you!
And then yesterday was Revenge of the 5th, if that's the sort of...
Or is today Revenge of the 6th?
Oh. See, that sounds better. That sounds like it would fit more.
Yeah?
Yeah. I like that better. So
it's May the 4th with you. Then you got Cinco de Mayo.
So I think it's May the 4th be with you, Return of the 5th, and then Revenge of the 6th. That seems like that would, right?
Okay.
Right? That seems like that would make more sense.
That seems like a very good thing. We should definitely
Revenge of the 5th. Return of the 5th, Revenge of the 6th. There you go. So today's Revenge of the 6th, May 6th. I thought this week is a good week to talk about Star Wars because there was, a couple things like the Clone Wars finale happened, and I won't go into that because Gretchen hasn't watched the Clone Wars yet. She wants to.
You can go into it. I don't mind the spoilers.
And then, Rise of Skywalker finally came out, so people are able to sit down and watch that finally.
Yeah.
A lot of people I know, like you and I, had seen it the weekend it came out, and then like nobody went and saw it. You know what I'm saying? Right? It was a weird thing, right? Like nobody went and saw it. So now we're finally able to talk about it. And how did you feel about it? How did you feel like overall about Rise of Skywalker?
Rise of Skywalker? I liked it.
Okay.
I mean, there are a few things that you can nitpick about, but I mean, that's with all of them. You can nitpick on them all.
That's true. Most people can even with the original trilogy, people will nitpick things.
They will just nitpick. If they're going to nitpick, they're going to nitpick, and there's nothing you can do about it. So
right.
You just go, so you didn't like it so much, it's fine. But, I mean, Star Wars fans are very passionate about their feelings on Star Wars.
That's true.
And everybody's feelings are valid, even if they're wrong.
So you think they might be wrong? You think they're considered wrong?
They're not their feelings, but their reasonings for their feelings.
I see.
Mine is the only one that's right.
So we figured we would sit here and talk about Star Wars stuff in general. The comic books, the movies. I actually have an unboxing here that I want to do in a little while. I think I know what's in here. Something that I ordered way back in January. So we'll open that up here in a little while, but I just want to wait for a few more people to come into the live stream and start chatting.
Yay.
So
we got to talk about Star Wars books too, though.
Oh, that's right, because not a lot of people are aware of the Star Wars books carrying on the official canon.
Yeah, and they're so good. Like, I have yet to have one that I didn't really love. Like, they've all been great.
Yeah, I agree. some of them are a little bit more lackluster than others, but for the most part, I'm pretty into it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
What I think it comes down to Disney as well having to, they get the biggest say on like somebody's idea of what a book could be. I think before it was whatever publisher could get the property rights to Star Wars could publish a book. Lucasfilm and Lucas Limited or whatever was all they were always about like whoever can continue the story without George having to write some more crap, then we're all about it. If you got an idea for a Star Wars story, we could throw it into. We could
Sounds
fit
like
it in.
a good story.
Yeah, we could fit it into
I
canon.
don't think people paid attention to canon too much back then. Like they were just eating up. It was like the times that we had our first like spaceman stuff. They didn't really care about what it was about. They just wanted spaceman.
Yeah, they didn't really conceptualize it to the fullest point.
They didn't obey any kind of laws of physics or anything. So
that's true.
So I think it's kind of like that. This is just they didn't realize that they were touching on a legacy. They were just like, yeah, we're just gonna continue the Star Wars.
Right.
Give them their Star Wars.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then finally, like, well, maybe we should have made all this thing like one universe, and then we could have made more sense with it. Oh man, we got to go through and let's just wipe out all the like early '90s. Like, let's wipe out the late '80s, early '90s. Let's pretend it didn't happen, and start fresh. Here we go.
Yeah, and I think, if I think about the people who had the earliest concept of like building a universe based out of characters, I think it was like Universal Monsters.
Yeah.
Like starting like back in the 20s and I don't even think there was an original thought in their mind. They're like, well, everybody ate up this one monster. Let's create another monster and another one. And then they get to the point. It's like, well, let's make a couple of them meet each other.
Yeah. Because they're like, okay, these are starting to get ridiculous. Like the big pinchy finger ones that they make fun of at the Halloween horror makeup show.
With big kind of brain heads.
Yeah, like once they hit that, they're like, this is no longer scary. This is
it's just getting cheesy.
Silly.
Yeah.
So they had to kind of regroup. So they're like, okay. When was the last time it was cool?
Believe it or not, do you know what duo was a key component to getting a lot of the monsters to cross over?
What?
Comedy duo.
Oh, it's got to be Abbott and Costello.
Abbott and Costello.
We watch Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein every year for Thanksgiving.
They met the Wolfman, Frankenstein's monster. They met, I think they met the creature.
Yeah.
The mummy. They met them all.
They did. We watch those movies all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Love those movies.
So I think that as far as I can tell, it's my earliest acknowledgement of something that started like a canon shared kind of universe, if you will.
Okay.
And so started, Dark Horse Comics was in charge a lot of making the canon as far as like comic book medium was, Dark Horse Comics. And so they're the ones that they introduced quite a few characters and some of them like Thrawn. Thrawn was, he was based out of a book, but the first time you visually got to see him was in a Dark Horse comic book. Now, towards the end of Dark Horse's run, and I actually have that here. I have it here somewhere. Dark Horse was like, you know what? Let's try to make like a sensible canon. Like, let's place a storyline between episode 4 and 5, right?
Okay.
And so they started doing that. And the Marvel, then Disney bought Star Wars. And they go, oh, you know what? We really appreciate what you did there, but no, you're still wrong. Everything you've done for the past 20 years is what we consider legends. It's the legends of the Star Wars universe, like mythology, if you will.
Well, yeah, so they can still make money off those books.
And they did. And so, they were done by other publishers like Dark Horse Comics and IDW and stuff like that. And they took those properties and said, they own Star Wars. They, whatever was licensed by Lucasfilm at the time, mm-hmm. Disney then obtained those licenses so they could take those comic books and say, we get to reissue these and reprint these all we want as far as part of the Legends storyline.
Okay.
So you'll go and you'll find trade paperbacks now that have in a gold bar under it says Legends, and they'll be printed by various comic book publishers. Not Marvel, not Disney originally, but they are now. And so Disney was like, we're going to take that idea that Dark Horse did about making a canon storyline between episode 4 and 5, fill in the blanks there, and try to make sense, make a full canon so that people can watch episode 4, read this entire series of comics, then go watch episode 5 and not miss a beat, and actually have some of those holes filled before they actually go to see episode 5. So
that takes a little bit.
It takes a little bit, considering that the whole series just ended in December of last year and was 75 issues long.
Golly gee.
Yeah. It got lackluster towards the end, but then you get to the episode 5 point, Empire Strikes Back, and now the new series is taking place between episode 5 and 6. Now, the newest one that just came out, I just read it. The last Star Wars issue that had come out before distribution stopped was issue number 4 of the new series. And this actually takes place. So in Empire Strikes Back, Luke loses his hand and the infamous lightsaber that Rey later finds in Maz's castle, right?
Right.
So this starts that whole plot point of what happened to the lightsaber. How did it get to Maz's castle?
How did it come to be in her possession?
Right. So in this issue right here, Luke goes back to Cloud City after he gets his new robotic hand and everything, goes down. Han is in carbonite. This is still taking place during the time when Han is being shipped off of Cloud City. He's still on Cloud City getting ready for distribution, if you will.
He's at the processing center.
Luke gets his hand. They're still back on Cloud City with Lando and Lobot, his what do they call him? Android. What's cyborg? His cyborg that had like the metal band around his head, the bald guy. Luke goes to the trash area on Cloud City and says, "Hey guys," he goes down there with the scavengers and says, "Hey, I'm looking for this thing. I'm looking for this thing." Probably doesn't make sense if you look at it, but it's a long metallic cylinder with some knobs and switches on it. Probably doesn't mean much. But it's kind of important to me, and I'm looking for it. So he's digging around the trash with Ugnaughts, which are the characters from what was his name? What was the guy from Mandalorian who was what was his tagline? I said so, or the guy that the little short guy.
I have spoken.
I have spoken. What was his name? Queel? No. Anyway, that's an Ugnaught for reference on what those guys look like. So Luke's like, I finally give up. I'm literally in a mountain of garbage, metal garbage. I'm never going to find this thing. So he ups and splits because other things start happening. And then not maybe, I don't know, less than half a day later, you see this Ugnaught find the lightsaber. And that's the last time you see the lightsaber. So I guarantee you, because Luke had such an interest in this lightsaber, and what obviously it had to be something of some sort of importance. I bet you that Ugnaughts going to end up selling that on the black market or something like that.
Because he thinks it's worth something.
Because he thinks it's worth something. And if anybody's going to get something off the black market, Maz is going to find it somewhere. I'm quite sure.
Sure.
So that was interesting, filling those gaps that people have had questions about for the past, well, especially since episode 7 came out, when everyone's like, well, how did the lightsaber get there? They're like, well, let's try to solve that plot hole, if you will.
Maybe it's an intentional plot hole so they can sell more stuff.
Well, that's the interesting thing about Star Wars in general, is that the more information they provide you,
the less information you have.
Exactly. The more questions you end up with.
That's true. I can't wait to go back to Batu so we can play some more of that datapad game.
The datapad game was
fun.
fun.
I want to spend a whole day playing the datapad game.
You have to dedicate your time on that datapad game on the phone. Just because there's multiple different options, but to actually make any ground on doing one of the various tasks, especially the ones that require you to be in the queue of the ride, like we only rode Ride of the Resistance that one time, and
Right.
there's a job you have to do while you're in that queue,
Right.
and we never got to go back and do that yet.
We'll do it.
We will. The first park that we're actually going to go back to when the parks open up is going to be Hollywood Studios, because everybody's going to be flocking to the Magic Kingdom. That's just where everyone's going to head to. Magic Kingdom and probably Epcot.
I feel like those will be the two busiest parks.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean Hollywood Studios has Star Wars, so it's going to be busy, but it'd probably be the second most busy. But I'm having like withdrawals from Hollywood Studios.
Me too.
So
that's always been like I think behind Magic Kingdom, that's always been my favorite park. It's always tied as my favorite park. Unfortunately, people are texting me right now, and I can't answer texts. But I just want to make sure we're live. Okay.
anyway.
Let's see what happens here. Let me check something here real quick.
You checking your text messages?
Okay. Here we go. Okay.
You all good?
Yeah. Yep. There's nobody in here yet anyway.
We went through all that?
Yeah. For the replay.
Okay.
Yeah. People like to go back and watch.
Oh, well, that's cool. Hi, people who come back and watch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm making pom-poms.
Mm-hmm.
For a rug.
So, what were we talking about? What were we talking about a second ago?
Oh, we were talking about how the Star Wars rabbit hole goes deep.
Oh, yeah. So the more questions they answer, the more questions you have after that. For the longest time, once again, going back to the ending of Clone Wars that just happened, like we had a whole gap in time of like, at the end of season 6, we saw Ahsoka quit the Jedi, and then at the end of Rebels, she pops up, and that's like a solid, I don't know, 10, 15-year gap right there. So now we got this last season of Clone Wars, so we got to see a little bit more of what happened to Ahsoka, but then we still don't have the final answers of what she did between the end of Clone Wars and when she popped up in Star Wars Rebels. And keep jumping in and out. Nobody's actually saying anything. I was checking the YouTube to see if we were streaming, which we are.
Okay. It's all good.
But I thought that Lucasfilm had released the original 16 millimeter prints of the first 3 movies, and they did. They did finally release the original prints minus the CG and all the other stuff that they added. I thought it was on Disney Plus, but I looked for it today and I couldn't find it.
I have not heard any of that.
I know they're out there. Let's see here.
Like, I haven't seen anything. I know you've said it like 5 times, but
Yeah.
I have not seen anything in regards to that.
Star Wars trilogy. Star Wars trilogy released. Let's see here. Yes. Okay. They call them the despecialized editions instead of the specialized editions.
Okay.
Thought it was supposed to be out. Original, unedited. Let me try it. Unedited. Unedited. Original unaltered trilogy. Lost in Comics, what's going on? Maybe you can answer a question for me. I thought that it was said that Lucasfilm or Disney had just re-released the original unedited trilogy, the original trilogy of the Star Wars films. Am I out of my mind? I thought that was supposed to be a thing. And so I'm trying to look that up right now. Dang it, maybe not. Maybe I'm losing my mind.
I've not seen anything.
I don't know. I'm
about
losing.
that.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Have you
apparently.
finally lost it in quarantine?
I think I hit that point where it's like I'm wishfully
Counting
daydreaming about
flowers
things.
on the wall.
Yeah.
That don't bother me at all.
I think
Playing solitaire till dawn with a deck of 51. Smoking cigarettes and watching Captain Kangaroo. Now don't tell me I've nothing to do.
Once again, Lost in Comics, what's up? Love the room. Thank you very much. Disjabber Christian, what is going on, my dude? Honestly, I haven't heard that. I guess I made it up. I don't know.
You lied.
I thought it was supposed to be a thing. At least at some point, I thought it was supposed to be a thing. The despecialized editions, the non-CG editions of the original trilogy. Gretchen's never seen those. You know, as a matter of fact, Gretchen.
Why are you gonna out me like that?
Speak the truth right now. When was your first time watching the Star Wars films?
The day episode 1 came out.
The day episode 1 came out. Her first time seeing the Star Wars movie?
My first time sitting through them to watch them. They have been on around me my whole life.
They used to come on basic cable as a kid. Yeah,
well, and my uncles watched it constantly.
But give me the numerical order in which you watched the first time.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
She saw all the Star Wars movies through for the first time in episodic order and not release date. Let's see here.
It's not like that's some sort of special feat. That's
what's going on, Dave.
Cousin
Dave's in the room.
Oh, it's Dave.
Yeah, so Gretchen, that was her first time watching that stuff.
I was a really cool kid.
Sammy, Skidoo. You both are like Skittles with your hair. I love it.
Purple Skittles.
This is like the worst way to watch them. I agree. I agree, but she didn't know any better. So that's all I can say is that she didn't know any better.
I didn't know any better.
So you know what? Let's do this unboxing. I got this box, something I ordered like I said back in January. I think I know what it is because I ordered a couple things and I don't know which one this is. So we're going to open this up right now.
You opening presents?
We're opening presents right now.
Sweet.
Sammy says, I have pink hair dye in my bathroom. I've never used it. Gretchen's is hair dye. Mine is pomade. I can wash mine out in the shower tonight.
Mine just grows this way.
Yeah. Gretchen's is natural.
Mine's natural.
She uses the hair color just to hide out the gray.
Yeah. That's the ticket.
That's the ticket.
I mean, it's way overdue, so don't judge it right now.
She don't know any better. That's right. She didn't know any better about watching the Star Wars movies.
I was just a child.
All right, what do we got here?
What you got? Oh,
it's the new Mandalorian pop in his nice shiny Beskar metal armor.
Sweet.
This is the brand new one that just came out. It came in this really sweet protective cover. Now I'll tell you what. I'll be right back.
He opens the box and he doesn't even show it to me. He shows it to you guys first. And then he sets it over there.
So here's the original Mandalorian, and then here's the new release. See, he's holding the gun differently, but then the armor is different. This is his old dusty metal, or rusted out armor. What?
I was just thinking about that scene in Devil Wears Prada where she's like, these two belts are so different and
they're identical. Yeah, so wait, did I held that? No, I held that backwards. Yeah. So this is his dusty armor with him holding the gun like that, and then he's got the rifle by his side in this new one with his new Beskar armor. So that's my new guy right there.
Very cool.
So there's a couple of them that are released with this new setup. They got the I have, what do I have?
He did it again. What am I going to do with him?
So I have the Covert Mandalorian that was briefly seen in the show, the female one. And then we've got the Death Watch Mandalorian, who has the little death, you can't quite see it, the little Death Watch symbol on his shoulder there, that saved the Mandalorian when he was a kid from his village being attacked. That's this guy. He was a GameStop only exclusive right here. But then you've got the Armorer, which is coming out, and you've got the Heavy, the Jon Favreau Mandalorian, the one that was arguing with him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you've got the Armorer and you've got the Heavy coming out soon, and I pre-ordered those at the same time, and I guess they're not supposed to be out till like June.
Okay.
So we'll see. We'll see. What's going on, Wendy? I just can't wait to get my hair dyed. Don't care what color. Everyone's gonna talk about hair color now on.
Let me just say, I am like so ready to make an appointment for my stylist.
I cut my own hair. I actually cut my own hair today. Sometimes it just makes you feel better, fresh shave and a nice haircut.
Yeah, you do have a guy, so you might be making an appointment to go.
I have a guy that I go to every couple months. But anyway, before, as I was saying, I got all these comics here that are Star Wars comics that I have to file back into the system as well. But I thought that I would take the time to talk about the Star Wars comics. Have you guys watched Rise of Skywalker yet? Do you have Disney Plus? Did you watch Rise of Skywalker? Did you watch the end of the Clone Wars cartoon, which was something else? Do you get a disconnected undercut? No, actually, this isn't an undercut as much as my hair is just brushed to the side. But I mean, I do kind of shave my head all the way around. When do you think we see the Armorer again in season 2? I think the Armorer is going to pop up around the same time that Ahsoka pops up as well, because I think there's a connection there that we saw in the Clone Wars. And if you think about it, Dave, the last episodes with Ahsoka and who she was in cahoots with, I think we know who the Armorer is, and I think we're going to see them again very soon. No spoilers on the Clone Wars. I'm not giving anything away, but I already know where you've been in the Clone Wars, and I know that you know what people she has communicated with. So I think that's going to be the thing. And the Armorer is, we only got to see a snippet of how badass the Armorer was. When she took out those stormtroopers, and she basically boiled one in the molten pit.
Yeah.
She tossed him in there, and he just like disappeared like that.
I love me some badass women.
Yeah.
Right up there with Phasma.
Yeah, Phasma is top notch for real.
Phasma is the most badass woman in the dark side.
Sammy says, you're gonna laugh at this. I didn't know till like 4 years ago how Darth Vader dies because I had never seen the ending. LOL. So I didn't know Darth saved the day basically. That's about right.
Yeah, it was his last redeeming shred of humanity.
The Clone Wars was fantastic. I agree, Jennifer Jess. Yes, it was. Which Star Wars movies is both of our favorite?
Which Star Wars movies are we doing within all of the Star Wars movies, or are we going by trilogy?
No, I think overall, what is your favorite Star Wars movie?
Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
So mine is either going to be it's really tight. Mine is either going to be Empire Strikes Back or Rogue One.
Oh, I see. I really love Empire Strikes Back too.
Yeah, you already voted though.
And I really love Rogue One.
Zombie kill of the week right there. Zombie kill of the week right there. What were we just talking about? Zombie kill of the week. What are we talking about? Oh, gotcha.
I don't know. Let me rum about it.
Phasma deserves so much more respect than she got. I think she's going to be the new Boba Fett. I think Boba Fett's coming back because we only saw him fall into the Sarlacc pit, not necessarily like get devoured by the Sarlacc pit. And as they say, the Sarlaccs digest over like 1,000 years or something like that. So he had plenty of time to get out before he got digested. So we only saw Phasma fall into the fire.
Such a loss, man.
She's way more resourceful. If anybody's read the Phasma book, she's way more resourceful than just falling into a fire pit and dying. Way more of an Amazon.
She is just. There's just no way that you're gonna kill her like that. Like that's one of my biggest complaints about the newer trilogy was they give you this awesome character and they weave an amazing backstory and then they're just like dead.
Yeah, done, you're done.
So I'm hoping they fix that.
Randy says, I agree with Gretchen. I was pleasantly surprised by the Han Solo movie. The Han Solo movie is the singular most underrated Star Wars movie out there.
It's so good.
I mean, people probably have their qualms with Force Awakens and Last Jedi, and people will say those are underrated. But Han Solo, the Solo movie, is the number one most underrated Star Wars movie.
I think people just automatically wanted to hate it the minute they announced that somebody other than Harrison Ford was going to take on the mantle of Han Solo.
Yeah.
That's basically what it is. The internet decided it was going to be crap because nobody could play Han Solo like Harrison Ford.
Yep, you're right. So, I got some of my graded Star Wars comics here that I was going to show you guys. This one is a second print. Okay, I don't have a first print, but this is good old Star Wars #1 right here. It's 7.5, which isn't bad, but once again, it's a second print. It's the Whitman reissue, and up top here, it literally says reprint because that's what they were labeled as. They didn't have second prints, third prints back then. They had reprints. So this one's labeled as a reprint, but it is the second print of this. Now, Dave, I know that we had talked about finding you a copy. The second prints, and we need to find you a first copy. The second prints can be fairly affordable. Now, this one at a 7.5 is probably about $60, which is way more pocket reasonable than a first print, obviously. But if you just need something as a placeholder to stick in with the entire rest of the series that you have, Marvel Comics just did what's called a facsimile copy. It's basically the exact same copy, same ads, all the same, reprints of all the same ads and everything that was in the original comic. But instead of 30 or 35 cents up here, it'll say $3.99. That's the only difference. You really can't know any difference unless you open up the book and look. But it would be a good placeholder just as a visual thing right now. That we probably find you one of those. But what the way Star Wars has been, like, for a while, finding a real first print #1 was maybe part of a paycheck. It could have been, but now it's really up there, and that's kind of out of my grasp for sure. Let's see here. Oh, and so along with issue 1 here, I got issue 2 and 3, which came with the Waltman pack as well. Now, these were part of a pack that is super hard to find nowadays, but if you remember when you were younger, when you were a kid, you could go to like Quick Trip or a gas station that had like a magazine rack, and they would have the sealed packs of a few comics in there for be like 3 comics for $1 or something like that. That's one of those sort of combinations right there. Super hard to come by nowadays. I actually got this from a local comic shop down here. All 3 of these for a very, very cheap price. And I got lucky to have scored that price as it is. I've got a couple other ones here. A story that if anybody is invested in the new movies, let's see here. Oh, did I send you the facsimile copy? Good, thank you. Because I've been I forgot that I sent it to you. I have been tearing up my room. Like I know I bought that for Dave, and I can't find it, but I already sent it to Dave.
Oh, there you go.
Well, good. There you go. Yeah. So if anybody is invested in the new movies, especially Kylo Ren and the Knights of Ren, this book right here blew up. You can't find this. This book literally came out 4 months ago, and you can't find this for less than like maybe $60 now. And that's why I got mine graded. But it is The Rise of Kylo Ren. This is the story of Ben Solo under the tutelage of Luke Skywalker, and how he gets corrupted. How he has a mental pen pal named Snoke, who has been corrupting him during his tutelage at the Jedi Academy, the Luke Skywalker Jedi Academy. And he's this telepathic pen pal because obviously Snoke was able to connect Rey and Kylo telepathically. Same concept. And so eventually Snoke leads Kylo and Luke and a friend of theirs are on their way to a Jedi temple that they found. It's the character that Max von Sydow played at the very beginning of Force Awakens. It's that character. That was Max von Sydow, right? I think, yes, Max von Sydow. I think that's who it was. Played that old man at the beginning of Force Awakens when Kylo's ship comes landing down and stuff like that. It was him, Luke Skywalker, and Kylo go visit this Jedi temple, and Kylo insisted on coming along because he wanted to see the Jedi temple, only because Snoke was in his head saying, "Hey, you need to go check out. You need to go there and be there. We got some things we need to talk about." And he gets there, and who's been camping out in the Jedi temple? The Knights of Ren. The Knights of Ren been making it their own little pad. Now the Knights of Ren happen to be Force-sensitive hooligans who are being led by a guy named Ren. That's why they're the Knights of Ren. His name, the leader's name was Ren. And then stuff starts going down. I haven't even finished the series because before quarantine happened, the final issue hadn't come out yet. But it's gotten down to the point where Kylo took them up on an offer, saying, "Hey, if you ever get bored with this do-goody Boy Scout BS sort of stuff, you can come hang with us, and we like to go and have fun and
cause a ruckus.
And
kind of like the boys in Pinocchio that led Pinocchio into temptation.
Exactly.
They end up getting ears out of their head. And
so it's because of this corruption that Snoke has been putting in his head, in Kylo's head. That's when you see that scene in the movie where Luke is standing over Ben while he's sleeping, right? Mm-hmm. And then Ben wakes up, and then stuff goes down. Now, there's a truth to both those sides of the story.
I say, now don't spoil the comic, though.
Well, I mean, okay, I won't spoil the comic. I guess I am giving away major plot points.
You just get that word.
Just going into it, but let's just say, obviously Kylo becomes Kylo, and he becomes the leader that we know him as. Mm-hmm. And also, the Knights of Ren were just like totally underutilized in the last movie.
They just showed them.
They showed up, and I hated that. I hated how underutilized they were because they were built up the mythology of not talking about them built up their mythology so long that these guys must be just complete badasses, right?
Right.
But no, they showed up and they're like, "Hey, Kylo, you need to stop what you're doing," and then he laid waste to them, and that was that.
That was all she wrote.
That was all she wrote. Um, yeah, Max von Sydow is the one that recently died. Poor Max. This one I have because it is my casing's a little bit scratched up here. I've been showing this one around a lot, but this is actually my favorite Star Wars cover right here, where it's Star Wars number 7. It's Han Solo with Chewie back here, fighting off I don't know somebody, but then it was recreated by one of my favorite artists, um, Alex Ross. So he took the original and then he recreated it like this. Now, one thing I like is that back in the day, they didn't have Arabic. They didn't have, this was all English, letters back here. They didn't have Arabic established in the Star Wars universe. But when it was recreated, the Wanted poster was recreated in Arabic back here, which I thought was a fantastic touch. And he looks just like just like Harrison Ford. So I thought that was a good touch when I saw that. But for some reason, that might be one of the first Star Wars comics I ever saw, and I think that's why I love that cover so much. It's always been iconic to me. And then I have a couple. Speaking of Alex Ross, I have a couple of covers of comics that you can only find from his online store. Mora, what is going on? What is the first issue with Boba Fett's appearance? That is Star Wars number 42. Let's see. Mora says the Knights of Ren seemed badass in the third film, but I felt like they didn't spend enough time with that. Exactly right. They did not.
They spent all their time on their look and none on their substance.
Yeah. First
Which
appearance.
Is the Knights of Ren, not what they did to the Knights
Correct.
of Ren.
Correct. Yeah. The first appearance of Boba Fett is that 1977 Star Wars series, Star Wars number 42. I have the Boba Fett origin hanging on my wall in the other room, and I think that was like issue 60 something as well. But you're looking to spend, a couple $100 on that first Boba Fett appearance now. And Chewie's pot belly is gone in Ross's edition. He does look apish here, doesn't he? He does look like he's packed on a few pounds. That's for sure. He looks apish. Is Alex Ross Bob Ross's brother? LOL. No, he's no.
But his mom paints birds.
But yeah, his mom is a famous artist. His mom, Mary Ross or something like that. She's a famous artist as well. So, but she does kind of the similar Bob Ross sort of stuff. So that's funny. These are ones that you can only find in the Alex Ross store. This was Princess Leia number 1, but I love the juxtaposition of the two classic characters there. Now it's a Princess Leia book, and neither of these guys are in the book, but it's a cool cover. Let's see here. Oh, got this Star Wars number 1. This was when Marvel decided to start printing canon comic books again. This is the first issue of the series that starts taking place between 4 and 5. Classic farm boy looking Luke there. Not bad. Now, this one here is what you call a virgin art cover. And it basically is the fact that there's no letters, no UPC, nothing on the cover except for the artwork. And I have it signed by Alex Ross himself. So let's see here. That's Ross's cover or autograph right there. And then you've got, somebody else down here. And then where's the third one? Is that one? That one? I can't even see. Oh, it's down here next to it. There's one. There's the other one. And then Ross's is over here. But that's a beautiful cover. Just the artwork. I love these virgin art covers. And then let's see here. Was there ever a comic book version of Splinter of the Mind's Eye? Yes, it was done by Dark Horse Comics. I think you can probably find it in reprints now. I was talking about that earlier about how uh, Marvel basically took every property that was not Marvel, but Disney took every property that licensed the Star Wars name from Lucas. That included every other comic book publisher that had ever made any other comics. And Dark Horse was huge on that for like 20 years. It was like one of their biggest properties. And so now they took all of that stuff from like Dark Horse Comics and IDW and all those other publishing companies, and they call them legends now because they're not canon, but they're still Star Wars stories that are out there. So they label them as legends. And so the Splinter of the Mind's Eye isn't canon anymore. It's a great story, but it's pre-Disney buyout, so it doesn't count as far.
It's a fable within the Star Wars
universe. Right. It doesn't count as far as the whole mythology goes. So that's so you can probably find it in a reprint or an omnibus, a collection of some sort under Star Wars Legends. Let's see here. I had that book for years. I would kick myself for getting rid of it. So Journey, let's see here. Before they would release each movie, they would release a series of comics called Journey to, and this was before Force Awakens came out. So this was Journey to Force Awakens. And this was a blank sketch cover that I got from Dynamic Forces back here with the certificate of authenticity. That's just a sketch cover of Finn on the cover there. It's pretty cool. Ken, I can't think of his last name, but he's kind of like their go-to guy for their sketches. Gretchen's got a couple comics of like Harley Quinn and stuff like that he's done sketches for. Now, a couple of my favorites that I have are Dr. Aphra #1. Now, I've said it before, Dr. Aphra is possibly my favorite Star Wars character right now, and the #1 most underrated, flying under the radar character that has had a main series for like the past 4 years that nobody's really paid attention to. Until Disney Plus said, hey, I think we're going to think about developing a series for Dr. Aphra.
Well, what is his name? Takiti
YTD. Yeah.
He is now going to be directing a Star Wars movie.
Movie?
Yeah.
Is he doing one of the High Republic movies?
It just says a Star Wars movie. They don't say anything else, any other details that I have seen, but he's going to be directing one. So
gotcha.
He's pretty good about including characters.
He is.
Like, he did a really good job with Ragnarok, including some deep cut characters.
Thor Ragnarok was amazing. This Dr. Aphra #1 is a variant, and it features a secondary character who's a bounty hunter who is just a complete badass, and that is Black Chrysanthemum. Look at that Wookiee right there. This is an action figure variant cover.
Oh, weren't they talking about him in the mainframe comics in one of those panels?
Yeah. Basically, so you can see the scar over his eye here, but basically for this image, they recolored a Chewie image and photoshopped a scar over his eye. But this guy right here, he's big and he's huge and he's like almost a foot taller than Chewie. He's one of those big brutish warrior ones, but Black Chrysanthemum is his name. And this guy is crazy. And then I have another Dr. Aphra #1 here. Let's see here. I love the sketch covers. The sketch covers are cool.
We have several sketch covers.
YTD did direct the season 1 finale of Mandalorian.
Yes, but they just announced he's going to be doing a movie.
Yeah.
Like maybe like 2 days ago, 2 or 3 days ago.
Right. So this is another one that I love. And so I've explained these characters before, but imagine human hating or just people made of meat, people hating droids that look like C-3PO and R2-D2.
Humanoid droids.
This is protocol droid 000. and this is BT1. Now, inside his hand here is a number of needles, toxins, torture devices, all sorts of things. They refer to any humanoid that isn't mechanical as a meat bag, and they enjoy torturing and killing and just watching them suffer. These two are homicidal. They were a part of what's called the Tarkin Initiative. They were
Tarkin.
They were programmed to be interrogation droids that went a little bit too far, and so they're under the Tarkin Initiative. They eventually got shelved because they were deemed too homicidal because they were killing stormtroopers and everybody.
Like a freaking Terminator.
Yeah, right. So we can thank Tarkin for these guys here. But 000 and BT1 are kind of paired up with Dr. Aphra, despite her best efforts. So Dr. Aphra is a mix. Picture her as a female Han Solo, Indiana Jones hybrid. Okay, exactly
she's
right.
She's a new scoundrel.
She's a scoundrel. So she's a smuggler and she's an archaeologist. Dr. Aphra. She's an archaeologist.
We need a new scoundrel. We lost Han.
Right. And so we were. Her first story is her trying to uncover these two artifacts for money. The two programs here, for money, because that's how she works, and ends up activating them, and then becomes intrinsically connected to them, no matter what. So those two are just complete homicidal lunatics. All right, let's see here. Have you had your collection memorabilia appraised officially? No, I have not.
It's always rotating.
It rotates so much, so I'm constantly buying, grading, selling. I'm constantly flipping comics and stuff like that. It's hard to like. What was it? Last year, I sold a whole box of X-Men comics because I got tired of I was so over the X-Men. So I just sold that whole box for like $300. So so it's hard to say, like, and I have so much stuff everywhere. Like who?
It's just a.
How do I appraise this?
You know, it ain't worth nothing.
Those books framed on the wall over there, like. I don't know.
That's you're sentimentally attached to something.
That's true. My sentimentality on some things is what keeps a lot of this here. But
you just don't like. You like to have lots of stuff. You're a maximalist.
I enjoy looking at my stuff. Now I decorate my room and all this stuff so I can look at it. Nobody else comes over here to look at it. I enjoy looking at my stuff. That's what I can say.
It ain't worth nothing. They all dollar store comics anyway.
Yeah, and truthfully, I mean, anything is only worth whatever somebody's willing to pay for it, right? In the end, that's kind of what it comes down to.
Yep.
Skylar made it. Skylar, how did your
quaffle?
How was it the quaffle?
Yeah.
How did the quaffle ball come along? I saw that you were suffering through it. The snitches you guys were making looked amazing.
Are we invited to this party?
Yeah.
Or are they just making Harry Potter stuff for funsies?
No, they're making it for Cody's birthday.
That's what I thought.
They've been
working on this for like 100 years.
To be fair, my parents would have never put anything closely related to that effort into a birthday party for me. So good on you guys.
That's pretty cool.
Real.
That's one lucky kid.
Yeah, seriously. Dave, besides that Star Wars #1 facsimile that I sent you, there's something else that I think you might be missing. And it's only because it just came out not that long ago. Let me see if I can find it here. Might be all the way in the back.
Are those your S boxes?
This is all of my new Star Wars stuff that I haven't put away yet.
Oh, you haven't even put those away yet?
No.
Oh, good God.
Yeah.
Babe, do we need to have a comic intervention?
Oh.
He's ignoring me.
One thing that might pique your interest. Let's see here. Skylar says the quaffle can go die. It did not go well, LOL. But the snitch, it's doing okay. She said you can come to the party.
Yeah.
So they started releasing.
Don't think I won't show up.
They actually made a series based off of Lucas's original Star Wars script before it got edited. So you've got.
Maybe that's what you were talking about earlier when you thought they were going to do an unedited Star Wars thing.
No, this is completely different.
Oh, well, I was trying to help you with your insanity.
So this is a Star Killer. That's what Skywalker's real name was going to be, Star Killer. There he is right there.
Well, that's a stupid name.
And look, they
still used it because didn't he have a Star Killer base?
That was it was an homage that they used later on.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. There's good old Darth right there, right? And then here's the Quarry. How do you say his last name? The guy who came up with all the concepts. His version of Chewbacca right here. So I don't have the full series. I'm missing only like 2 or 3 issues. But yeah, they made a full series of the original script. It was only like 8 issues long. You can find it in trade paperback form if you go look on Amazon. It's called The Star Wars Lucas Script.
The Star Wars.
The Star Wars.
It's like somebody's mom. You watching the Star Wars?
Guys, keep it down.
It needs to be on Marvel Volume 2, please. That's what I heard a lot as a kid.
Right.
Needs to be on Volume Level 2, please. Because it was usually on
Volume Level 2.
10.
Right.
Because your TV was like because
you
had
those
the clicky
big old
one,
knobs.
and it only had it was 0 through 10.
Clunk, clunk,
or no,
clunk.
it was 1 through 0, and 0 was like 10. So I was only allowed to have it on 2.
Okay, Dave. So, issue 108 of the original series that started back in 1977 came out last year. Solid 30 years after the series ended. But there's that Legends tag right there. So they brought out this final issue because it featured a character that they needed to go back and reference because they're trying to make him a thing now. And I don't know if you'll remember the character. I will show you in a second. You might not remember the character because I forgot the guy even existed. Let's see here. Ralph McQuarrie. That's the name I was trying to think of, the concept artist. This one goes to 11.
Yeah!
Valance the Hunter. So this is such a throwaway character of just a generic cover. Like the guy looks like nobody. Okay, this is the first. I just coincidentally had the first appearance of this guy right here. This is issue 16 of the series that you have. His name's like Beshel Valance or something, but his name is Beshel the Hunter. He's a bounty hunter. So they're trying to make him a thing, and it sucks because he's such a waste of a character.
Making him a thing, he sucks.
And so they brought out that issue 108 last year, continuing that final series, so that they could mention this vague freaking character that appeared early on in that original Star Wars series, and start including him. Oh, I've got him right here. I've got this new series that started, Star Wars Bounty Hunters. There he is right there. It was revealed that he's half android. He's missing half his face there. Half his face is metal, but that's the guy. They went through all of that to introduce that guy, so they could throw him in the new canon. And the guy is just boring. He's just a typical human bounty hunter. And there's nothing special. So it's revealed he's like half cyborg. Okay, but there's nothing fun about that. Yeah. Let's see here. I keep zooming my screen in. So let's see here. Let's see some of the stuff that I haven't put away yet. So I bought some old issues of that original Star Wars series back in the day. And I can find, a lot of these in okay condition. I can find for like $1. $1.50 a piece. We got a little shop down here that just buys comics in bulk from people that don't want them anymore. Yeah.
And stuff and...
What are your thoughts on the Aftermath series of books?
Which the one I just read?
Life Debt?
Yes.
It was Life Debt.
Yes.
Okay. They don't grab me as much. I don't know. Something about
I had
them.
a hard time reading Life Debt.
Yeah.
I do love the books. I just had a really hard time with it. Like, it was so slow for me.
I agree.
But, I mean, it had good story. It just didn't keep my attention. There wasn't enough pew, pew, pew for me.
Yeah. Well,
you need more of the pew, pew, pews when you're watching the Star Wars.
That book was definitely made for exposition, for storytelling instead of...
It's filling in the holes.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought it was okay. Skylar says, couldn't finish the Aftermath books. I dragged them out forever. I don't know. I couldn't do...
Not the best.
Not my favorite.
Yeah.
Not my favorite.
I would say unless there's a pivotal story that I should be reading, I probably won't jump to read it.
True. I agree with that.
Sorry if it's your favorite.
Sorry.
You do you. That's why there's more than one flavor of ice cream.
Just got back from Canada,
I will throw something
I'm sorry about that.
Did I say sorry?
You said sorry.
I did not.
I'm sorry. Excuse me. I'm sorry, but you did.
I did not. I don't speak like that.
So I was collecting a lot of these action figure covers. There's a specific artist that does these. I love the action figure covers because they're a complete remake, and they're not even photos. They're painted. This is all painted, and they look just like the cardstock of the way the toys looked back in the day. I love these. Okay, so Dave, just like Splinter in the Mind's Eye, there was the series Heir to the Empire, and this is one of those Dark Horse ones, Heir to the Empire here. And I think they actually used some of the artwork that was on the cover of the actual book itself. But Dark Horse Comics made them. I don't know if you can find them in trades still under Dark Horse or if they're under Marvel Legends Star Wars series.
You and your Marvel Legends.
Well, that you're talking about Marvel. Those stories have been around just as long as the original series has been around.
I know. I'm just saying it's been brought up many times tonight.
Dave says, not read them at all. Just wondering if I need to spend some time for the Aftermath series. I don't think you're missing anything. I don't think it adds anything that is going to add any context to anything you're looking for. And Dave says, she totally did say sorry. S-O-A.
Is that cousin Dave?
S-A-O-R-Y. Sorry. Like you're going to go soaring.
I'll give you a sorry.
I used to love this series by Dark Horse as well. It's called Star Wars Tales. Now there's a story in there that Han Solo and Chewie in the Millennium Falcon go through a time warp. Okay? And they end up on planet Earth. I guess technically in the future, because where they're from is from a galaxy long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, right?
Okay.
So they go fast forward through the future and land on Earth and crash land. Well, Han is mortally injured, like he pretty much dies. You fast forward to the 1940s, and you've got this guy out in the jungle hunting a Sasquatch. But it's not just any guy. It's Indiana Jones.
Bum, bum, bum.
And the Sasquatch is Chewbacca. And he's been around living in the jungle as the Sasquatch. And Indiana Jones has been sent out to hunt him down. So, and that's an actual story in the Star Wars Tales, believe it or not. But it doesn't count as canon anymore.
It's a legend.
It's a legend. It's a legend. But these books were fantastic. You can find trade paperbacks of these, and these are just fun reads. If you just, even if it's not canon, it's just a fun read. I highly suggest this title right here.
Does it give you did you give it the Tim seal?
The Tim seal of approval. Now this, and then there's the Dark Horse series. So right before Dark Horse lost their license to Star Wars, it was right before Disney bought Lucasfilm. Dark Horse decided, hey, let's do a thing where we set the book to take place between episode 4 and 5, like a linear timeline. And so they were getting most of the way through that. And then Disney bought the property and said, hey, that's a great idea. Thank you for that. What you did doesn't count, but we're going to do our own instead.
But we like that idea. We like what
idea.
you were doing with that.
We like that idea.
Good job. Here's some season passes to Disney World.
So their series, their first series that they just ended at the end of last year. 75 issues long, took place between episode 4 and 5. So you watch episode 4, you read all 75 issues, move on to episode 5, and it covers all those time gaps and all sorts of stuff.
That's a lot of issues. You couldn't wrap up the story in all them issues.
Yeah, right.
You couldn't get to your point?
Oh, Skylar said you said sorry because you're missing Soren at Epcot.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, the Indiana Jones and Han Solo thing, super meta. So where's the Falcon? I don't know. Probably lost in the water or got.
It did end up on Jakku eventually, so it could have been lost.
That was a long time ago. Oh, you're saying like here now?
Yeah.
They found it, and that's the original. That's the real Falcon that they have at Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
There you go. It's been around the whole time. It was just in hiding, I guess.
It's probably got a cloaking thing on it out in friggin' hyperspace.
Totally
somewhere.
cloaking thing. Yes, that's exactly what it was. Good call, Ben.
People don't think I know a buttload of crap about Star Wars, but I do.
Right. Yeah, a lot of people. So, I think a lot of people are surprised that you know so much about Star Wars.
Although you wouldn't know by this conversation, because the two things that you've talked about are the two parts of Star Wars that I don't know about: the comic books and the cartoons. You want to talk about the books or the movies? We can talk about that all day. So, judging by this conversation, no, I don't know a buttload of crap about Star Wars. But if you want to talk about movies and books,
You know enough.
I know enough to keep me dangerous. I don't have the attention span to sit and read comic books all day long.
When?
You see, I have to be productive. I have to sit here and do things. I can't just not do anything, and I'm not doing that. So that's not gonna happen.
I don't have time to read my comic books. Is that? I think that was Star Trek with the cloaking thing. Oh, yeah, you're right.
Whatever.
Gretchen doesn't know enough about Star Trek. She can't join that conversation.
I don't know crap about.
I tried to get her to watch Next Generation. She just.
I can't sit through it.
She couldn't get past the first few episodes. To be fair, the first few episodes are a little slow.
I did try.
The episodes with Q were always a little bit slow. So I don't blame you, dear.
Sorry. If I have to give up my nerd card, I don't think that you are required to love every single fandom that's out there.
Oh, well, says you, I guess.
Says you.
Says you.
It's okay if you don't like them all.
So one thing that I was talking about in the new series, like I had just said, the original Marvel series, or not the original, the new Marvel series that had just ended took place between episode 4 and 5. Well, the new one takes place between 5 and 6. And as we know in episode 5, Luke loses his hand, loses the lightsaber. All of that falls away. What we don't see is that it ends up in a junk heap at the bottom of Cloud City. And so this issue here, this is actually a 40th anniversary cover for Empire Strikes Back. It's the Battle of Hoth scene. The Imperial Walkers is what it's called, but has no context to what's actually inside this book. It takes place as Luke had just got his new hand back. he goes down to that trash pile to look for his lightsaber. And so I think they're kind of working on the story of how Maz got a hold of that lightsaber. And so Luke goes down into the trash pile. There's a bunch of Ugnaughts down there as scavengers. And he's telling them, hey, I'm looking for this cylinder. It's got a bunch of buttons and dials and stuff like that on it. It's not really important, but I'm just looking, I need it for myself. So after a while, some stuff starts going down again at Cloud City. He has to bail. Shortly after that, one of the Ugnaughts actually finds the lightsaber in this junk heap. And so that's the last you see of it, is this Ugnaught found it. But you can only assume, because Luke was looking for that this guy thinks this strange object has to have some sort of value. So I'm willing to bet it gets sold, ends up on the black market, something like that. That's the sort of wires that would get crossed that Maz could get her hands into to come across an actual lightsaber. So I'm thinking that's where that's going. Skylar says Next Generation was her favorite. Picard reminds her of her grandpa.
If Picard reminded me of my grandpa, then I would probably be entertained by that. My grandpa is a little sassy German man, and he is like, you know how like Tommy Lee Jones looks at everybody disappointed?
Oh, yeah.
That's how my grandpa looks at me. He always looks at me like, what the hell are you doing now? And I love it.
What was that meme? Tommy Lee Jones always looks at you like you just told him you want to be a rodeo clown for a living or something. It's like just always squinty-eyed and just like
disapproving.
Yeah.
So if the Enterprise was captained by a sassy little short German man, I'd watch.
That's fair.
He's standing on there judging, like the Klingon ship or whatever comes up, and he's standing there at the bridge, and he's like, "You look like a damn fool. Why don't you just turn back around?"
Is it Queel from The Mandalorian? I was trying to think of his name earlier. No, you know what? I mean, all Ugnaughts kind of look the same. So yeah, it looked like Queel. Let me open it. Let me open it and show you. I can show you right now.
Oh, I need more rum. I gotta do rum run.
Rum run.
Rum run. Sorry, I'm old. I walk like an old lady. Hi, everybody. Nobody wants to see your comic books.
There he is right there at the bottom. It looks like it could be Queel. I don't know. I don't know. All Ugnaughts look the same, basically. But I couldn't think of his name earlier. Thank you for that. So there's been some good mini series lately. One of them was Galaxy's Edge, based off of the theme park at Hollywood Studios, apparently. I mean, that's the marketplace that you go through. That's spot on. There's locations here. Look, there's Dr. Afra right there, sitting there at the bar that Gretchen and I had drinks at the one time. Should go check out our video where we went to Galaxy's Edge. And was it you made your droid, or was it when I made my lightsaber? You made your droid, right? When we went to the bar? What? She made her droid, and then we went to Oga's Cantina afterwards, and that was surreal. So go check out that video, because that was literally walking into an iconic scene in any Star Wars movie, the Cantina.
Oga's Cantina?
Yeah.
Was amazing.
It was incredible. And so I was saying, like, the locations here in this book are, you can look at them and say, I've been there.
Mm-hmm.
There's Hondo. So yeah, that's just a fun series. Also, I highly suggest anybody go read Black Spire Outpost.
That's such a good book.
Such a good book.
Read
and,
Phasma too.
and you need to read Black Spire Outpost before you go to Black Spire Outpost. It's going to give you so much context that when you walk in there, you're going to be like, I get what that is. I get what that is. Look, that's the thing that they talked about, and that's,
It does submerge you into it. It does immerse you into it more.
And there's characters in that book that you can actually meet in person at Black Spire Outpost. That's the cool thing about it.
I love that the characters roam, like Ray, and you learn about the character Vi Marati, who is pretty freaking awesome. And
yep. The datapad game. If you go watch the video where we did the datapad game, we came across Vi Marati, who is the spy in Black Spire Outpost. We talked with her.
Mm-hmm. We also, she accidentally helped us.
We were doing the datapad.
The rebel scum.
If the datapad game that you can use there at the park. Gretchen,
pick if you want to be.
Gretchen always sides with the First Order because she wants to be in Kylo's favor because she likes Ben Swallow. And
he likes me too.
And so we were trying to figure out the puzzle because they're kind of like mini puzzles, and we were trying to figure out the puzzle and how it works. And Vi Marati walked up and she goes, "Oh, it's really simple. You just go like this." And so she helped me hack Rebel security, without or resistance security without realizing it. And we're like,
"Thank you,
thank you, Vi." Yeah.
And then she walked away, and we were like, "Rebel scum."
Oh, Dave says, "Say hi to Captain Jack Sparrow for me with the rum."
Oh, yes. He said hi.
Your mom said Gretchen's grandpa used to be compared to Bob Crane of Hogan's Heroes.
Am I wrong, Mom? He's a little sassy German man. Right. I think Grandpa would have totally done an amazing job, captain of the Enterprise. He would have just run over everybody like he drives his car.
Right. So, Dave, I know that your girls like Ahsoka. 2 years ago, there was this small series of books called Forces of Destiny, and it actually focused on the powerful female heroes. And when I mean powerful, I mean like lead, strong, female heroes that little girls can look up to. And so this is the Rey one that I have, but there is specifically an Ahsoka one as well, and that was a really good read. I can't locate that one right now, but these books, these are actually done by the same Star Wars Adventures, which is actually not Marvel. It's IDW, but I think they're an offshoot of Marvel of some sort, kind of like Gibson's Epiphone, if you will. And they create these stories that are meant mostly for kids. I collect these because they're just enjoyable stories altogether. Just little one-off stories that don't really have anything to do with canon. It's just like a day in the life of one of these characters at some point in time. Just something fun, something quirky, if you will. Like the new one. Actually,
that's one of the things I like about Star Wars is it doesn't always have to be so intense.
This is the newest one here. I think 32 next issue is going to be the last one. But this one is it's just Poe talking with Rey while he's teaching her how to fly an X-wing, like just telling stories.
I love Poe.
And they come across the buzz droids that try to eat up the ships. We've seen those before. That was the big suspenseful part of this story was the buzz droids, but it's just the two of them piloting X-wings, telling stories. It's just stuff like that. And then they have this one in the back called Tales from Wild Space, where they take this one little wannabe scoundrel guy and put him in odd scenarios as well. It's just a fun read.
I don't think they do enough with Poe. I really like his character. He's a sassy dude.
Let's see here. Your mom says, "I remember that," and she assumed you were on her side. Vi Marati.
Yeah.
Vi Marati. Yeah. Your mom says, please refrain from using foul language.
Who,
Wait.
me?
Oh, no, Streamlabs said that.
Oh, did I say?
Streamlabs said that. What foul language did you use?
Sorry. Did I say a dirty word?
Did you get bleeped out that it didn't show up, Jaquita? Streamlabs is weird sometimes.
Wait, Streamlabs told me not to?
No, told your mom. Told your mom not to use. Jaquita, watch your mouth. Don't use words like assume. Don't fucking assume in this stream.
You watch your fucking mouth.
Skylar says, I loved Hogan's Heroes. That's amazing that your grandpa was compared to that.
Oh, he's entertaining for sure.
Olivia loves her the most. Ahsoka, yeah. Score those for me if you can. I will take them off your hands. The Star Wars. What was it? Force of Destiny ones? Yeah, sure. If I can find these for you, no problem. They shouldn't be hard to find. I think they're actually collected in a trade paperback now as well.
Oh, if they're in a trade paperback, even better.
Yeah. Where was the bromance with Poe and Finn? Right?
Yes.
Was Poe not jealous of Finn because Finn was trying to develop a relationship with Rey? Like Poe was kind of like butthurt, right?
And then Finn became friends with Rose.
Oh, that's right.
You know, and Poe was like giving side eye. I think they were trying to kind of play it safe, but I really enjoyed how they just bonded.
Sure.
You know, they really did bond. It's unfortunate.
I don't know.
But Raylo is canon.
I don't know what you said either, Jaquita. I don't know what.
It isn't any big deal at all. We were just making a joke about it.
Her birthday is in October. Okay, I'm sure I could find him before October. I'll just keep an eye out for him. No problem. Forces of Destiny. I got you covered. Skylar says, I wanted Stormtrooper to be real. I wanted Stormtrooper to be real so bad. I wanted Stormtrooper to be real so bad.
In life?
In life? What do you mean? You wanted Stormtrooper to be real.
I mean, they can't shoot.
Yeah.
I love how the Stormtroopers get all sassy at Galaxy's Edge.
Rose also was tragically underutilized. Yes, it was. Actually, the final book of this Forces of Destiny, I'll show you here.
Rose is one of those situations where the fandom realized they were being assholes, and now they're like, sorry, Rose.
So these were weekly. The first book was Leia. Rey is the one that I have. Hera, who you know from, I think you've watched Star Wars Rebels. Then week 4 was Ahsoka and Padme. And then week 5 was Rose and her sister Paige. They never ever talked about Paige. She was a sacrificial lamb at the beginning of Force Awakens. Or was it Force Awakens?
Yeah. No.
No.
It was the second one.
Yeah. Jedi. Yeah. Right? Yeah. The Last Jedi. So I'm glad that Rose and her sister actually get a storyline together because you never see any of that connection whatsoever. No, bromance. Let's see here. Wait a minute. I gotta backtrack.
Keep up with the chat, Vaughn.
Let's see here. I wanted Stormtroopers to be real so bad. Rose is tragically underutilized. Storm Pilot or whatever. I don't know what Skylar's trying to say. Storm Pilot?
You're looking at me like I can see.
Stormtroopers were real, but they were called Nazis. That's correct. No. The bromance name of Poe and Finn. Oh, like Bennifer.
Oh, okay. Storm Pilot. Sorry, we're slow on that.
Would they call that a pin or a foe? Pin or a foe?
It's effing Poe.
Effing Poe. It's effing Poe. That's it right there. Let's see here. Okay, Dave agrees is a Storm Pilot. Storm Pilot.
I'm special. Thank you for explaining
Stormtrooper and X-wing pilot.
I'm picking up what you're putting down now. It's just that
I mean,
I've never felt more 40 than I do
It took
right
me
now.
a minute to get it, so there it is. Ding ding. Dave says.
Sometimes I'm special.
Well,
Most times.
So I was gonna say sometimes is a relative word for you, I guess.
That's true. I am special. My mommy says I'm special. She'll tell you right now, won't you, Mom?
Ma, tell me I'm special.
Tell me I'm special, Ma. I bet you wish you could hear that every day, right? Like when I was a kid, I'd be like, Mom. She's probably sitting there going, it's just like the old days.
Dave, check it out. I got them all right here. I'm gonna send them to you.
You had them and you didn't.
I had them, didn't even know it. There's Hera, Rey. There's Ahsoka and Padme right there. And look, Rose and Paige. So I got them all. I'll send them to you.
Jeez Louise, so you already had
I didn't even realize I had them. And I got these like 2 years ago. And I know I read them because I specifically got these hero-centric covers because they had different ones. Because there's the Rey. But then that's the Rey that I picked up. So, see.
That's what happens when your collection gets so big.
Well, and truthfully, I bought this to help out my friend's comic shop because it just opened back up. And I just need to grab something.
There you go.
It was 50% off. It was $2.25. So I'll keep these out for you. The Forces of Destiny collection right here. Dave headed your way because I still have to mail you that Greedo autograph.
Yes.
And the Esmeralda autograph of the fold-out taxi. You remember that?
Yeah. So we'll have a box
I'll put this aside. Have a little package for you coming your way, man.
Get you quarantine care package.
Yeah. Oh, you want to know what was another sorely underutilized character? DJ.
Let's say your hands on the cover.
DJ from Last Jedi.
Oh yes, the
Benicio del Toro.
I loved him.
This gives a little bit of context to his character, but still, we need more DJ.
I love everything Benicio del Toro does. I just like saying his name, Benicio del Toro.
Right. Oh, hey, what's going on, guys? Where'd it go? Dang it. Just wanted to say hi. What is going on? Thanks for stopping by for a little while. Skylar says the phone's gonna die. She's gotta go. Bye, Skylar.
Bye.
Thank you guys for stopping by. I really, really, really do appreciate it. Yeah. No, trust me. I know that I was pretty lit when I told you I was gonna send you that stuff, but I remember that I was gonna send you that stuff. I just haven't put it in the mail
yet.
Yeah,
he just had to have a correction because he tried
I was gonna
to
send you the wrong
my
picture.
copy.
I was gonna send you Gretchen's picture, and she put a stop to that. But I got the other one that I'll send you.
Sorry, Dave. It's got Han Solo, and I wasn't about to give that up. Love ya, but you can't have the other one.
Like one of the ships of. Let's see here. Yeah, I was hoping to see him in like one of the ships that Lando and Chewie brought back. So there was the ship from Star Wars Rebels, the Ghost. If you look close enough, actually pops up in that fleet of ships that Lando and Chewie bring to the Sith. Mm-hmm. So you got to look close, but it's there. It's a pretty distinct shape to it. But yeah, DJ, underrated character. I also have one for Beckett from Solo. I have one in here as well. Actually, oh, you know what is some of my favorite, Dave? These are like Tales from the Crypt. It's called Vader's Castle.
Oh yeah, those were fun.
And so they're like horror anthology books set in the Star Wars universe. But I mean, look at that Maul. That Maul when he got found on that junk planet where he made those spider legs out of machine. Like that's just scary as it is. But there's two series of these. There's Vader's Castle and then there's Return to Vader's Castle. And these are done by the same people who did those Star Wars Adventures books that I was telling you about. Fun stuff. Fun reads.
Those are fun.
And one person that I always wanted to see pop up in a live action form was Asajj Ventress, Dooku's Padawan, Dooku's assistant, the bald lady with the dual lightsabers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I always wanted to see her in live form. Oh, and then there was another Darth Vader related horror anthology called Vader Dark Visions. Like in this one is a reference to the story inside the book where this woman sees Darth Vader the same way Gretchen does. She falls in love with him and sees him as kind of a shining knight, if you will.
So when you read it, does it read Once Upon a Time? There was a pastel goth named Gretchen.
Right.
And she fell in love with a man named Darth Vader.
That's right.
Not Anakin Skywalker because he was a bitch, but Darth Vader was badass.
Dave says, wow, I see where I am right now. Oh, because of the picture thing.
Sorry, Dave.
So
I had already claimed it. He was just drinking.
So when I was talking about them reissuing that final issue of their original Marvel series back in the day to bring back the character, it's because they were doing this mini-series also called Star Wars Target Vader, where that lame dude was hunting Vader of all people. You gotta have some balls to send a bounty hunter after Darth Vader. That's all I'm saying.
I'm gonna go ahead and venture that it did not bode well for him.
Well, you know, anybody being sent to tackle Darth Vader isn't going to bode well. Well, here's the Beckett issue. I don't actually remember this issue, but it was okay. You know, basically a Woody Harrelson comic book. I mean, it's got him right there on the cover, right?
Yeah. Beckett's character was meh for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they needed him to flow the story, but I could give or take him.
The follow-up, so I had the film, the adaptation to the solo film right here, which, you know, basically just followed the film. They followed that up with Han Solo, Imperial Cadet. It was during his days with the Empire and why he got kicked out.
Before he met Beckett.
Before he met Beckett. Yeah, it leads up to that mud planet that they were on, where he, you know, ends up leaving.
Followed the guy with the tail.
Yeah, but this lady's obviously yelling at him because he is a smartass the whole way through because he's Han Solo.
He's not.
He's doing Han Solo stuff,
which means he's smart enough.
He's in there not very long. He's on the edge of getting court-martialed already. That's the second issue, you know.
Second issue, third day.
Right. So that's just that's. Then there was another one. Like I said, I was talking about these mini-series. There was another one called Star Wars TIE Fighter. It was based around a squadron of TIE Fighters because you always get to read about like the X-Wing pilots. You never get to read about the TIE Fighter squadrons. And it was okay. There was nothing really amazing about it. It's based off of, so there's a book out there called Alphabet Squadron, which is a TIE Fighter book. And this features characters from that book, if that makes any sense. Yeah, true. Beckett, you know, if Beckett didn't exist, Han wouldn't have got that blaster.
Oh no, he definitely needed to be in there, but I don't know that he was like a component for the story. Him himself is a boring character.
That's fair.
I'm not saying he wasn't important to the story. I just don't care about his personal crap. This is just me.
Also, a rarity that we never really get to see is last year they went through a whole series of books throughout they were called the ages, if you will. It was you had the age of what was it? What was the first age of
Aquarius?
Yes, the Age of the Republic. You had the Age of the Republic, you had the Age of the Rebellion and the Age of the Resistance, right? The Age of the Republic was the prequels, and the Age of the Rebellion, they featured various characters. Like obviously, Age of the Republic had like Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi and
Padme
and Jango Fett and Padme, exactly. And so Age of Rebellion, they went through certain characters that never really got any spotlights, like Tarkin.
Effing Tarkin.
So Grand Moff Tarkin here. Now I've not read the Tarkin book, and I heard that's really good.
Yeah, but the books I've read with Tarkin in it, that dude.
Yeah, this guy.
He is.
This guy is
weird dude.
A bastard of all bastards.
Yeah.
This guy is. So that's Jaquita says Han Solo is her kind of guy. Getting court-martialed.
Getting in trouble.
Yeah.
For their mouth.
Basically.
Yeah. That's relatable. That's relatable.
All right. So, wow, okay. I'm barely putting any books away. I'm just grabbing things and talking about them. Oh, let's see here. Bounty Hunters. I still haven't read that. That's the only one I haven't read. So I gotta read that.
Gotta do a couple things, but I'm going to step out for a minute.
All right.
Mostly I gotta walk around because my legs fall asleep.
Right.
I can't sit still. I can't sit still.
Oh, one thing I wanted to show you that we got at Galaxy's Edge is a sabacc deck. Believe it or not, this is really cool. We're gonna try to learn how to play sabacc. I mean, I have read the rules and it's actually really simple, but getting to understand what the cards read is different. So it slides up like this, and then you've got the section for the dice, and then you've got all these cards here. Now the dice have less meaning than you think they would in the game. You know, they always talk about the sabacc dice and how Han had that winning pair of sabacc dice. Really, the only point of the sabacc dice is when you're rolling die at a certain point in the game, you have to try to get doubles. Okay? There's no numerical indifference between any of these symbols. It's just that when you roll, you're trying to get doubles. That's the only point of the die. Now, let me show you some of these cards. What is Gretchen's making a rug, believe it or not. When she comes back in, I'll have her explain it to you. So let me just pull out a couple different cards here. So there's only 10 cards in a suit. Okay? Only 10 cards in a suit. This is kind of like the ace. Then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you go to these specialty symbol cards, which then represent like, 7, 8, 9, so forth and so on. 10. That's the final card in the deck. But you got all these cards that have all these weird symbols, and they're red and green. And so green are positive numbers, red are negative numbers. And at the end of playing your hand, you basically have to get as close to 0 as possible. So basically the dealer deals, and then you place a bet, and then you can either exchange your whole hand or exchange however many cards you need. Okay. The dealer gives you 2 more cards, and then dealer rolls the die. And if he rolls double, everybody has to give up their hands and get dealt a brand new hand. But you have to understand what these freaking things mean. You have to memorize what those cards mean with these weird ass symbols on them. That's going to take some getting used to. That's going to be the difficult part about it. And it comes with a cheat sheet, obviously. And it tells you all the different winning hands as well. You've got Bantha's Wild, Rule of 2. You've got sabacc, which is 0, winning 0 with 1 pair. I mean, there's just like so many different hands and rules. All of these are hands. All of these back here are different winning hands. Like this. Oh, we have a guest.
We have a guest.
Your mom wants to know what you're making.
Say hi, Sirius. He's grumpy. I am making a pom-pom rug for my craft room. So I'm making a ton of little pom-poms out of yarn so that I can adhere them to a rug mat. So I can make a rug.
So how long ago did we buy the Sabak deck?
Last
year?
No, I think we bought it in like January.
We still haven't played it yet because it's complicated. It is complicated. Oh, Comics Club, what's going on? Hey guys, how you guys doing? Let's see here. Oh, you know what else I have is really cool?
Oh, this is really cool.
This guy right here, my lightsaber. This thing is a aluminum cast. I mean, I got this from Disney itself. Got the Rancor tooth on the back there.
Got it from Savvy's Workshop.
Got it from Savvy's Workshop, who you can learn about if you read the Black Spire Outpost book. But I have the white kyber crystal in here because I like the way it sounds. It sounds very clean. But this thing is got some weight to it. Like this, if I drop this, it could break my toe.
Yeah, it's pretty heavy.
It's pretty heavy. It's got some weight to it. But the sound that it makes. The wishing sounds. And the whip. And so the different kyber crystals make different sounds as well. Like they have the color comes from the crystal. It affects the blade differently. Mm-hmm. It's all one blade that can make all the different colors and all the different sounds that are emanated from this.
And the crystals are interchangeable in the holocron. We did a video about it on our YouTube.
Yeah, we did a couple videos of all the time that we spent at Batu. I think we did just about everything that we can do at Batu. I think we did all the things we could do at Batu.
I believe you're correct. I think we've done all of the things.
We rode both the rides. We got a droid. We made a lightsaber.
We played the datapad game. We ate the food. We went to the cantina. We had the Ronto roaster. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know what else is left. But I'll still go back.
Gotta do it again now.
I'll still go back all the time.
Gotta do it
I'll still go back nonstop.
We played with Chewie and we played with Bai. We hid from the First Order.
Yeah.
I catcalled
Kylo. Let's see here. Jumped in late, just finished dinner. That lightsaber is awesome. Thank you. Didn't you do a video of making that? Yeah, we did. We did a video of that. Your mom was happy for us when we finally get a lightsaber.
That's pretty cool.
Gretchen, does Tim bring that to bed at night?
No, it has a place of honor which it rests.
It's mounted on the wall. Used as a nightlight. No night lights here.
We need our REM sleep.
Yeah.
Maybe the bunny gets a nightlight once in a while. What do you think? You think about that? You think about that?
Put a link to that video somewhere. All right, let me see here.
There's a lot of bunny hair in here.
Don't taint my room with bunny hair.
There's bunny hair.
Let him go shed elsewhere.
No, he wants love. He's mopey because he's bored. Because he doesn't have $86 worth of bunny toys hanging out in there. I have basically bought bunny treats and toys from every small business that makes rabbit treats and toys.
Yeah.
Surprisingly enough, there's quite a few of them.
Right. Let's see here.
But Sirius is spending his quarantine sampling everybody to find his favorites.
Here's a link. There's a link to that lightsaber video right there.
The lightsaber making was really cool.
Teach him to ring a bell. No, we don't need that.
Oh
Did
no,
you see
that video was insane.
that honking the bell video?
Beanie the bunny, that guy, his bunny can paint, and you can purchase his paintings, and they donate to charity.
Right.
Yeah, it's really funny.
All right. I gotta go get more drink. I'll be right back. Hang tight.
Hang tight.
Hang tight.
Hang in.
Talk to people.
Yeah, making the lightsaber was really cool. We really enjoyed it. It was a really neat atmosphere. You can bring a guest with you, so there's only 2 people per lightsaber allowed in Savi's workshop. So it was just me and Tim, and it was a really neat, very like hallowed feeling. Like it was obviously like some sort of, I don't want to say a holy place, but definitely some place where the Jedi are free to be the Jedi. And you know, because Savi is a Jedi sympathizer, so I thought it was a really cool experience. I want to make a lightsaber now, I think.
Yeah, she wants the same format as mine, but when it comes to the lightsabers, you basically for each individual piece of assembling the lightsaber, you can have 2 different options.
I basically want the opposite.
The complete opposite choices
within the same group, the nature group.
Yeah, she wants the nature, which is what mine was. It was made out of like tree bark and stuff like that with the tooth on the end. She wants the same concept, but actually, so I think I got the more masculine side of things that I picked. And the stuff you want.
Oh, like theoretically, because mine has the one I want has like
filigree on the metal and stuff like that. It's really elegant looking, so I think it would really work well with what she wants to get. The other one I want to get is it was used for the Jedi Temple guards. It's kind of gold and silver, really beautiful, really kind of streamlined. Add it to the description later. Yeah, I will. Let's see here. Still have not been putting things away like I should. Slowly.
You're just yapping.
Yeah, I am.
You're just yapping. Just yapping.
I like it when your mom's here. She's a good yapper.
Mom
she brings up conversation.
Yeah, she does. She likes to talk.
All right.
You know, you should have been drinking out of your Ted Danson Chewbacca mug.
Oh, I should have. I didn't even think about that. Didn't even think about that, darling. Good call.
Since this is the Star Wars edition of Hangout in the comic room with Tim and Gretchen.
Yeah.
Oh, show them your sweet Star Wars book that like we got for Christmas from our friend.
Oh, snap. This is
really
amazing.
Cool. It's right. It's on that shelf right in front of you next to the He-Man.
Yeah.
Up. It's up. Isn't that it right there?
No, Brian and Sarah got us the storyboard.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Is that what you want to show?
Yeah.
Do you want to show them the one? So our friends at the Comics Club here in the chat, I bought this book from them. This was the Galactic Guide, the Explorer's Guide, and the cool thing about this is, and I explored the whole book. I kind of beat the game, if the book was a game, if you will. But
you did all the things.
I did all the things, but throughout the book, you download this app and you scan these things, and it becomes augmented reality. So this map, so you would scan this area here, and it would be attuned to this part of the map, this galactic map, and you could hold it and just like look around, and you would be in the middle of the map, and you could point to planets and everything like that. And then there would be certain pieces like this, like you would hit that code there, and it would bring this bird up into your face, like this giant, disgusting looking creature. It would just be massive. So this
in like 3D.
in 3D right in front of you. It was amazing. It actually, there's a piece in here you can scan where you can control a virtual Millennium Falcon, fly it around like a little remote control car. You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
It's pretty neat seeing a little Millennium Falcon fly around my living room.
Yeah. And then one book that I really adore.
That's the one I wanted. My friends
our friends got us the original storyboards to the original trilogy.
Yeah, it's
beautiful,
really
beautiful
cool.
Pieces in here. The detail that went into the storyboards on this stuff, scene by scene. I spent hours going through this. And there is stuff in here that, and it's almost spot on imagery, scene for scene. Like if you were to compare these to the movie, they would almost be exactly spot on. This is the scene where Luke goes into the cage to confront his darkness and finds his father. And then, uncovers the mask and his own face is in there. Just amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. And there's actually scenes in here that I think they might have actually filmed stuff, but was probably on the editing room floor because it seems like there's some extra stuff that didn't quite make it into the movie.
Right.
But super cool stuff. Thank you for reminding me, babe. I forgot about that stuff down there.
Yeah. The storyboards is really one of my favorite pieces. What are you doing, little guy? What are you doing? Why are you being weird?
Dolly likes the book too. Yeah, that book was sick. That was a fun book.
Oh, hi, Dolly.
Oh, wow. Good thing we didn't have that back in the day of LSD. Oh, the augmented reality book.
Well, I mean, LSD still exists.
It's still around.
You can still get it. They call it Molly now, I think. So you could
relive the movies. So going through those storyboards, that's a good point, Jaquita. Going through those storyboards was almost like looking at the movies for the first time, because it's from it's almost like looking at the same thing but in a completely different viewing, if you will.
It's like living in from a certain point of view.
Yes.
Which is one of my favorite Star Wars books.
Yeah.
From
a certain point of view. Another fantastic book, From a Certain Point of View. So take everything you know about the Star Wars trilogy. Was it the first trilogy?
It was the original trilogy.
The original trilogy. Now take a side character who wasn't pivotal in the main scene.
Like a random
stormtrooper. Pick a scene throughout the movie, okay, of something that might have happened. Like the cantina scene where Obi-Wan pulls out the lightsaber and chops off the guy's hand, right? Well, take somebody else that might have been in the cantina, sitting at the bar. Take their perspective of the events that happened. That's the whole point of the book, from a certain point of view. So all the main scenes that happen throughout the trilogy, you would take a peripheral character and whatever they had seen go on in that certain time. That was their story. Right. That was a really, really cool concept. Oh, my cousin Dave left. I missed it. But he split.
Bye, Dave.
So it's just your mama.
Just my mama.
Just your mama.
Mama. I'm over here cuddling with your grand bunny.
Grand bunny.
He's finally calmed down. He was being a sass.
Yeah, that's what he does. That's what he does. I'm trying to think. I don't know that I have any more Star Wars stuff on my shelf.
Serious, you're killing my allergies, bub. Why are you shedding so hard today?
He's like, don't pet me so hard. Basically. Oh, I feel like we've been going for a couple hours now.
We have, baby. It's almost 10 o'clock.
It is almost 10 o'clock.
We should probably start.
I think that's why everybody's bailing, because it's getting to be 10 o'clock.
Yeah, we should probably start winding it down. Well, for me, I'm going to go put the bunny away. But
that's fair.
So I'm going to say goodbye.
All right. Well, Jaquita, I appreciate you sticking around as long as you did. Anybody who happens to be watching on the rewind, thank you for for watching and sticking through and watching us just ramble on about things. I didn't get a whole lot accomplished with putting away comics tonight, but that seems to be the way it goes sometimes.
Sometimes he acts crazy.
Seems to be the way it goes sometimes. That's why it's taken me so long. That's why it's taken me weeks to put away 4 boxes of comics. So, but thanks for watching the live stream. I really appreciate the fact that people are interested in watching us
talk about
ridiculously
huge
nerdy stuff all the time.
Yup.
So we're gonna get out of here, and thank you for watching.
Say bye.
Say bye, COS.
He's like, put me away. I'm done with this crap.
Bye bye.